I was looking around Crunchyroll for shows to watch, and I happened to come across one with a cool name, and that name happens to be Murder Princess. By the way, this is shorter than your standard anime, only spanning across 6 episodes. But in this video, I only want to talk about episode 1, just in case you decide you want to finish up the show and watch the rest for yourself. So with that, let's pretty much just get into it. The show centers around a girl named Princess Alita, who was told to run away by the Majesty because their castle is not only under attack, but the Majesty has already suffered a fatal injury. With his last breath though, he tells his daughter to go run through the forest and head towards the border, and then he kneels over and clocks out from life. And so with that, Alita goes to the forest, but before we move forward, we get to see who has the royal family pressed so far with their backs against the wall. And that will be children? Or to be more accurate, mechanical dolls that look like children. Which is strange, you could have made them look like anything, since they're, dolls. But I digress. Because it really doesn't matter what these mechanical dolls look like. Because they're showing that they are more than willing enough to catch a body if need be. A few seconds later, they're showing that they are actually led by a man named Dr. Kashime, which is also a royal scholar. Now, a royal scholar in this context is basically just a person with close ties to the royal family. If you're not catching on by now what I'm trying to say, he's basically just a traitor. But surprisingly enough, his demands are pretty simple. The demands are hand over Princess Alita, or die. Obviously though, since she has already fled the castle, I'm pretty sure you can understand what's gonna happen next. And speaking of the princess, she kinda runs into a problem while trying to escape, being the monster is now trying to kill her. Luckily though, she runs into a woman named Phyllis, and it gets a little weird, because the princess accidentally bumps into Phyllis, knocking them both off the side of a cliff, and this leads them to accidentally switching bodies. But still, I guess it doesn't matter too much, because Phyllis still ends up killing the monster that tried to attack him inside the princess' body. Now if you're wondering how did she end up killing the monster, it's actually pretty simple. It turns out Phyllis is actually a bounty hunter, who is accompanied by 2 other people, and her being the boss of this little group. But knowing that, fast forward a little bit later, they start talking about why they buy switch bodies with her group. And it turns out it may just be a case of spiritual commutation. Now, obviously a lot of people may not know what I'm talking about, so I'll explain it. Spiritual commutation is basically when 2 people have a near-death experience together, so they swap souls. But the princess isn't really too concerned about this right now, because she got bigger problems, like her country being in danger. So she get on her knees and begs Phyllis to save her country, her being a bounty hunter. And even though Phyllis initially refused the offer, they do come up with an agreement. That being in exchange for saving the country, Phyllis gets to do whatever she wants with the princess' body. And now with an agreement in play, all of them actually scrapes beelines it for the castle to engage with combat with the doctor and the mechanical dolls. Not only knocking out the mechanical doll on her ass, but knocking the doctor too, and claiming to be a new ruler of the country, and with this bringing the first episode to an end. Now, there was a few things I was thinking about during watching the first episode, but the main thing was, the doctor was never the main antagonist, and I kinda assumed that, or realized that, when I seen a few characters pop up a few times throughout the show, or first episode that is. By the way, if you're wondering if it all concludes in a 6th episode that takes place, it most likely does, because I had to check over at the manga, and it is extremely short as well, only spanning across 2 volumes, or to be more accurate, 11 chapters. Now if you don't mind a fast-paced show, I would really recommend it. Now it isn't gonna be a 10 out of 10 or nothing like that, but it will be something good to just pass the time and just chill out and watch. So with that, give it your watch, or not, it's your decision. But subscribe, and come back to see the next video.